Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this deep dive. We're heading into some pretty fascinating territory today.
Yeah, definitely concepts that sit outside the usual mainstream view. Things often dismissed.
Exactly. Things like what happens after we die, abilities some might call paranormal, ancient wisdom.
And how it might all connect in ways we don't normally think about. It's based on this source that pulls together, well, a mix of things: personal experience, spiritual traditions.
Right, a real blend. And our mission here really is just to navigate what's in the source material with you, pull out the interesting bits, the connections it makes.
Uh-huh. To help you get a clearer picture of the ideas it presents. We're not adding our own spin here.
Nope, just exploring what it lays out.
Mhm.
So let's dive right in because the first big idea challenges, well, everything for some people, death.
Right. The source suggests that for many, the initial surprise isn't oblivion, but realizing you're actually still alive.
Still conscious.
Yeah. It says maybe those who are less aware in life are more surprised, but generally souls recover quickly. And this fog of amnesia about your true nature starts to lift. You remember your main life.
Main life. Okay, so this life here on Earth is more like a temporary assignment.
That's the perspective presented. Yeah. A side life. Like a temporary experiment or one specific incarnation a soul takes on. It suggests souls experience many lives, many births, and deaths.
Which connects directly to something people do report, doesn't it? Near-death experiences, NDEs.
Absolutely. The source really highlights NDEs, points out these reports aren't new, they go back thousands of years, and sound remarkably similar across different cultures.
Suggesting a pattern.
That's the implication. Maybe death, like birth, follows predictable stages. The author even draws on their own claimed NDEs and out-of-body experiences, saying there isn't really a death of the person in the way we usually think.
And the descriptions, they're profound, feeling lighter, more alive than ever, this overwhelming peace.
Peace, tranquility, immense love, intense lights, beautiful music, and this expanded sense of perception, like seeing, hearing, feeling, all at once.
Wow. There's that specific anecdote, too, about the 94-year-old relative who was dying.
Oh, right, in the hospital, pointing to a corner, describing a warm, gleaming light, said people were waiting for her, named deceased family.
Including a daughter who died at birth, right, who she'd never actually seen.
Exactly, which the source uses as support for this idea of soul families, groups of souls connected across lifetimes, maybe even across the universe.
A connection beyond just physical life.
That's the suggestion.
Mhm.
But, the source also acknowledges how these incredibly real experiences get dismissed by some scientists.
Right, it's just brain chemistry or fantasy.
But the author insists these non-physical realms felt more real, though there's a caution, too.
Oh,
Yeah, not to get too obsessed with the afterlife because it can distract from living this life fully, but having some basic understanding, it argues, can reduce fear
yeah.
and maybe help align you for what it calls ascension.
Ascension. Okay, so if death isn't the end, where does the soul go? The source has that visual, that pie chart.
It does. It outlines potential destinations based on the soul's energy and consciousness level at death.
Like,
Infinity, paradise, higher astral, mid-astral, lower astral, and also rebirth back here on Earth.
and it mentions getting stuck,
Yeah.
especially in those lower astral places.
Yes. It even suggests that maybe grief is more appropriate for a soul stuck there than just for physical death itself.
Huh. And burial rituals might help.
Help the soul release its tie to the physical, yeah.
Yeah.
And it adds this perspective that Earth itself is considered one of the lower regions.
So for many, things might actually improve after death.
Potentially, yes, according to this framework.
Okay, so connecting that to our life here, the source gets into reality creation, but maybe not in the way some people talk about it.
Right. It pushes back a bit on the idea that you just, create your reality solely with your thoughts. It suggests it's more like we receive frequency and energy.
Like a television receiving a broadcast.
Exactly like that analogy. We tune in rather than manufacturing it all from scratch.
And key to this is the Most High, the ultimate source.
Yes, the absolute, eternal, infinite. The source really emphasizes the benefits, psychologically and spiritually, of acknowledging and addressing this source.
How is that different from, say, law of attraction just focusing on desires?
Good question. The source distinguishes by saying for big results, you need a bigger context. It means aligning your personal will with the will of this Most High.
So it's less about ego desires.
And more about stepping beyond the ego, submitting to higher guidance, opening up to intuition.
Which leads to prayer, right? The source discusses prayer as a practice.
Yes, but maybe defined broadly, like deliberate thinking, pulsing out energy, sorting thoughts,
And
focusing.
it's a two-way street, not just asking for stuff.
Exactly. Giving, contributing, being open. It can be casual, friendly, just acknowledging something bigger than your everyday self.
It gives examples like asking for good outcomes, if it is your will, adds that layer of surrender.
Right. And it's not about shirking responsibility either. It's like you do everything you can, then you summon that higher support and alignment.
Then there's this radical idea that your whole day can be a prayer.
Yeah, by realizing that ultimately the only cause is this infinite field. It frees you from just thinking in terms of linear cause and effect, what it calls the causal plane.
Because everything stems from the field.
From that perspective, yes. You're always interacting with it.
And love is central here too, isn't it? Described as a real energy.
Absolutely. The energy the universe is made of, it claims. A field that attracts good things, improves life. And ascending in love means becoming more unconditional.
Starting perhaps with those close, but expanding outwards.
Ideally, yes. Radiating love, and then love radiates back from the field. That's the idea.
And briefly, the rainbow symbol.
Links to prosperity. The colors to chakras in Hinduism, representing the source light breaking into frequencies. And non-resistance, like water. It all weaves together.
That interconnectedness really flows into the next part. Ancient wisdom, religions, and these hidden links.
Yeah, the source does this comparative study. It looks at how major religions fragmented, but also points to these deeper esoteric or mystical cores.
Their inner circles beyond the public teachings.
Right, which it claims are often untouched by the surface level disagreements or duality.
And its attitude towards religions is interesting. Not picking one winner or saying they're all wrong.
Or even equally right. More like different paths contain both truths and falsehoods.
It assigns specific contributions, doesn't it? Buddhism for awareness, Hinduism for creative energy.
Christianity for compassion, Islam for devotion, Judaism for discipline. Putting them together, it says, makes a wonderful mix.
No, this is where it gets wild. Claims of scientific facts in ancient texts, way before modern discovery.
No? Like the Hindu Rig Veda supposedly describing Earth as a sphere, having advanced astronomical data.
Or the Bible passages interpreted as mentioning deep ocean valleys, underwater mountains, springs, things you wouldn't know without, well, deep sea tech.
Exactly. Samuel, Jonah, Job, passages cited there.
Yeah, the Quran.
Several examples given. Verse 21.3 is interpreted as like the Big Bang heavens and earth parting. Also that living things are made of water. Verse 21.33, Yas, 3840 on celestial bodies moving in orbits.
Expanding universe in 51.47. Mountains preventing shocks in 21.31. 78.67. Universe is gas in 41.1.
Those are the connections the source draws, and maybe most surprisingly, 53.45, linking gender determination to the ejaculated drop, which, predates understanding chromosomes.
Wow. So given all that, the source calls the whole reincarnation versus heaven-hell debate stupid.
Pretty much, yeah, because it argues infinity is big enough for all scenarios, reincarnation here or elsewhere, ascending, descending, souls just gravitate energetically.
It even reconciles things like evolution, God, and ETs creating humans by saying,
Why not all three? Embracing paradox.
but ultimately the focus isn't so much on where we came from or where we go.
But on living now fully, that's the recurring message.
Okay, another layer of hidden connections.
Yeah.
Names. The meaning of names.
Right. Ancient cultures giving names with real significance. The source gives examples linking historical figures to their names' meanings.
Like Eisenhower, Iron Hitter, fighting the Iron Cross regime. Stalin, Steel, Churchill, Church on a Hill. Roosevelt, Field of Roses.
Yeah, and the author notes their own name fitting their interests. It's presented as more than coincidence.
And links between Abraham and Brahma, Manu and Uman backward. The syllable hu and human.
All explored as potential pointers to deeper connections, shared roots, or embedded meanings related to creation or the soul.
Plus the shared Oamim, sound Om, Shalom, Amen, link to Omni, everything.
Right. It briefly touches on Abraham challenging idols and the contrast between monism, all is one, maybe impersonal, and humans creating intermediaries, gods, angels, to relate to the infinite.
So the big takeaway here is,
Don't compartmentalize knowledge. Comparing traditions reveals more. It's empowering, whereas seeing them as totally separate or dismissing them all is, well, disempowering from this viewpoint. It even ranks levels of understanding from atheism up to monism.
which naturally leads to symbols and numbers as another hidden language.
Exactly. Things hidden in plain sight, like the claim about Chartres Cathedral in France.
That it encodes the Hindu chakra system. Seriously.
That's the assertion. The facade's layout, the number of elements in specific features, allegedly matches the 7 main chakras and their petal counts precisely.
Can you give some examples again?
Sure. Jesus at the top, crown chakra, 1,000 petals. Mary and angels below, brow chakra, 1 center, 2 petals. Then 16 knights for the 16-petal throat chakra. The rose window.
The heart chakra, 12 petals.
Right. Then a window with 10 divisions for the 10-petal solar plexus, 6 figures for the 6-petal sacral, and the square door at the bottom for the 4-petal square-associated root chakra.
The alignment seems uncanny if true.
The source argues it makes sense if the cathedral represents the human body or the body of Christ, incorporating these universal energies.
So what of the numbers themselves, 3, 7, 5?
Yeah, they have significance. 3 transcends duality, positive, negative, up, down, symbolized by the triangle, pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the observer beyond duality. Think Trinity, or triads in other systems, wisdom, strength, beauty, paths to higher consciousness.
And 7.
Called the blueprint of creation. Found everywhere in ancient lore, maybe linked to the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, seen as a divine number, connected to the 8 of infinity which lies beyond creation.
Okay, and 5.
The number of the human, the physical, our form, head, 2 arms, 2 legs, 5 fingers, toes, senses. The 5-pointed star symbolizes us, often associated with invoking power, material things.
Okay, connecting hidden structures and human potential. Let's talk about those paranormal skills. The source sees them differently, right?
Totally. Not supernatural, just inherent functions of consciousness itself. Abilities most of us have forgotten or haven't developed, like psychometry.
Reading objects or places by touch or proximity. Sensing their history or energy.
Exactly. The source claims it's even used quietly by law enforcement or intelligence. It's about perceiving the energy field things hold. The author gives personal examples, sensing room history, feeling objects.
And needing a clear mind, no expectations.
Crucial. Contrasting old places with deep, sometimes dark history, versus new places that feel maybe lighter but shallower.
Then telepathy.
Described as consciousness reading thought fields, not just brainwaves. Happens spontaneously, it says. But tension, strong emotion, attachment, they interfere.
Like couples sharing feelings or illnesses.
Yeah.
Or that experiment sensing screen colors needing non-attachment.
Right. And invisibility, mentioned in yogic texts, linked to diverting light, making the body less dense through consciousness.
The author mentioned that childhood hide-and-seek experience.
Yeah, disconnecting awareness based on the idea that matter is just denser spirit steam, water, ice analogy.
Levitation. The dream of flight.
Oh. Linked to higher, lighter states of consciousness. The source breaks down causes, though, fraud being the biggest slice of the pie chart it presents.
Then foreign entities, energy fields like electromagnetism.
And rarest, ecstatic levitation. Linked to deep meditation, prayer, high consciousness, yogis, saints. The author felt pre-stages feeling light, ecstatic, almost floating. Believed it could become physical with practice.
Xenoglossy speaking unlearned languages.
Yeah, documented cases exist. The author mentions speaking Greek in their sleep, having no conscious knowledge of it, finds it fascinating for language learning potential.
Savant syndrome is seen as proof of potential too.
Absolutely. Profound abilities despite disabilities. And those shifts in multiple personality cases, like eyesight changing with personality, shows what the baseline human might be capable of.
Remote viewing or psychic walking. Seeing things beyond the senses.
Right. But linked to predicting probabilities based on current energy, not fortune-telling a fixed future. The future is fluid.
The author's experiments in a foreign city. Predicting car colors, then sights down streets.
Required practice, tuning in, being in the flow, getting past discouragement. Achieved accuracy like 80% versus chance.
But perceptions can be tricky. Misinterpreted.
Definitely. Like sensing a saucer object that's really a hat. Because these abilities are consciousness-led, not ego-led, they aren't always predictably on demand.
More awareness helps filter, but reveals more overall. And you can integrate it daily.
Like sensing who's in the next aisle, what's in a shop window, simple stuff. Patience and practice are key.
Teleportation.
Instant travel.
Method described. Intense visualization of the place, projecting awareness, receiving impressions back, suggests sensitive people or animals might perceive the traveler.
The author's examples: girlfriend seeing him, student seeing the visualized car.
Yeah, anecdotal, but points to a field connecting us beyond time-space, according to the source. Acknowledges it's not fully understood.
Channeling gets a warning though, doesn't it?
A strong one. Risk of negative influences, paranoia if you have a negative disposition. Ethical concerns about letting entities take control, cites negative outcomes for famous channelers. Jane Roberts, Helen Sheckman.
Shazy Knight, Jerry Hicks. Raises questions. Were they channeling lower astral stuff? Can the human body handle it? Or is adversity just part of life?
Contrasts the lofty channeled claims, "You are God," with the channeler's struggles. Offers a more grounded view, "You are a universe in miniature."
A god in miniature, yeah. Finally, supernatural vision, seeing auras, energy spirits, NPEs.
Requires positivity to avoid attracting unpleasantness.
That's the claim. Fear, rage, sadness attract or energize negative entities. Ghosts are described as low awareness fragments, stuck earthbound due to negative states at death.
Feeding on fear to manifest.
Potentially. Moving objects, noises, cold spots. Sources ignore them, tell them to leave, or they need spiritual help. Generally can't harm unless you feed them fear.
Okay, wow, that's a huge landscape.
Hmm.
From the soul's journey to these abilities, and then information suppression.
Right. The source talks about historical examples, Emperor Tim burning books, executing scholars, the Library of Alexandria's destruction.
Hiding knowledge, too. Buddhist monks hiding scrolls. Maybe stuff in the Vatican Library.
Yeah. Linked to mass consciousness hiding what it's not ready for. The internet makes it harder now, but digital info is fragile. Modern buildings don't last like pyramids.
Time capsules are mentioned. And the Tibetan Terma tradition. Hidden treasures.
Teachings hidden physically or in the mind stream of a future discoverer, a Terferton, sometimes in symbolic Dakini script. A tradition of ongoing revelation shows knowledge isn't always obvious.
Which brings us back to reality's fluidity, synchronicity, reality creation, and some unanswered questions the source explores.
Yeah, it gives these striking examples, often involving movies or actors. Seems to explore that blurry line.
Christopher Reeve playing a paralyzed man before his accident.
The Matrix title in that accident photo. Demolition Man having a Scott Peterson prisoner years before the real trial.
Brad Pitt's Achilles injury filming Troy. Seen as negative reality creation.
Or the weirdly tragic events around the Omen film crew. The jet crash hitting the pilot's family's car, negative synchronicity, unseen force.
Jim Caviezel's ordeals filming Passion of the Christ. Lightning strikes, injuries. Attributed to supernatural forces reacting.
But positive examples, too. Reagan's life saved, inspired by his own movie. 2001, Predicting Tech.
And prediction is about probability based on current energy, right? Not fixed fate. Discourages gambling because emotion messes with perception.
Exactly. Then it shares those website poll results. What's being kept secret?
Free energy, alternative healing, media financial control, ETs were top votes.
Followed by a long list. Real history, nature of reality, secret space programs, surveillance, subterranean cities, angels, demons, lots of speculation.
And the crop circle poll? Who makes them?
All over the map. Spiritual beings, ETs, earth energy, hoaxers, future beings, governments, even farmers and tourist boards got votes.
But no witnesses for the complex ones.
Apparently not. And brief mention of the Ark of the Covenant experiments suggesting it's under the Temple Mount. Very hard to verify, obviously.
So we've covered an enormous amount. Death, consciousness, ancient wisdom, hidden abilities, suppressed knowledge.
It's a vast, interconnected picture the source paints, really inviting you to look beyond the ordinary, below the surface.
And suggesting these paranormal things might just be normal parts of consciousness we've lost touch with.
That's the core argument, and it encourages you